Yeah, I haven't been really watching too many films this year. I absolutely use like other stuff going on as an excuse, but I just think it's more. I have lost faith in film as a whole, um, and stuff that really kills my faith and my love and for film as a whole is when either average or terrible pieces of shit are being lauded as brilliant,
Mm.
and it really alienates you from the craft that you love. I remember coming out of Romulus, for example, and I looked at Eddie and I said, "Well, that was exciting." Really, sort of sardonically, because then for like the next 20 minutes, from the cinema room all the way down to the outside, we were just shitting on it with everything that we hated about it, just because it's not about anything at all. The entire point is to give the audience a fucking roller coaster thrill ride. It's an entire film that's just created for. The only thing to it is like, okay, I mean, I think the editors did a great job of pacing it.
Yeah.
All I can say, really. I think it had like an idea or two, like the fucking alien baby or whatever, yada yada. And then I think about films like Deadpool and Wolverine, which came out and people fucking love. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see how bad it is. But like, I remember the day after it came out, my sister and my nephew went to see it, and they were quoting it to each other, and they were crying their eyes out quoting it to each other while they were over. And it was the unfunniest shit I'd ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
I could not feel more cringe and secondhand embarrassment listening to them list off the worst jokes I've ever fucking heard. It was so uncomfortable. And this isn't even because like it was things offensive to me or anything. It was a case of this is really what unfunny middle-aged women enjoy. But this is it's a case of like how do general audiences enjoy these things? I just sometimes I feel so far removed from the people who I don't know live next door or down the fucking street. It's incredulous. It really is. It makes me like, how the hell am I feeling disconnected from a craft I feel a part of? It's like I don't even know how to explain it or something to compare it to, because it's like you feel like what was the point of learning for all these years? What's the point of falling in love with something? What's the point in feeling artistic merit? What's the point in feeling that you're creating something long-standing, that you want some success with something? What's the point in having a moment where you feel like something clicks with you in film, for it to all come crumbling down with terrible pieces of art that people laud and love and acclaim? What is the point? And that has made me lose faith in film, especially in 2024.
You must be excited for Wicked.
I could not care less. I really couldn't care. Like, Wicked is one of these things where it's like, I bet you it might be a fun time for people. But then I see actually mass media, through social media and stuff, people lauding it as a masterpiece. And then you get, like, the only way they can enjoy it is by insulting people who actually enjoy film.
Yeah.
It's like, if your first instinct is to talk about people who enjoy films that you don't, then maybe the film you've just watched isn't that good, and you're making excuses as to why it is. Stands need to be exterminated as quick as possible. I'm sick of them.
Kill all stands.
Kill all fucking stands. Like, that's the thing, is like, I mean, I don't care about Wicked. I'm never ever gonna watch it. I bet you if I watched that, it would be a case of, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck, but it's a case of like where, like I think we talked about in the last podcast, quality dilution has come to a point where the average is lauded as a masterpiece, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Sick of it.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing with
How
Wicked is...
the hell are people looking at the paintings and the car of Michelangelo and thinking that it's not relevant to today or something?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because it is. I mean, obviously, box office figures don't mean an awful lot, but it's obviously, it's crazy that Wicked and Deadpool and Wolverine will be the two big films of the year, and not just like big films that aren't critically well received and fans don't like, but just people have gone to see them. But that critics actually like them and they're well received, which is weird to me. Like, obviously, I haven't seen Wicked, but everything about the trailers It just looks bad.
Terrible. Yeah, it looks.
I don't get
awful.
how it can be good, but apparently it's going to win an Oscar. So
I think critics are fucking cowards. I think critics used to fucking cook back in the day. I think they used to cook when they used to be completely unafraid of what people would say. And I think many critics lose the appetite for criticism when they actually either make films themselves or they meet people and they know how it feels to be criticized heavily, especially on a public forum. And I totally understand, but your craft is to speak the truth about how you felt about the film. And I think there are too many times where payments are being made to make sure a critic has, lined their pockets to make sure that they don't say anything bad about the shitfest that they've just watched. It's been happening in Marvel for well over a decade, and I hate the fact that we've come to a point where we're so far more interested in making the bag than keeping our integrity. Ryan and I have even literally talked about this very thing, where it's a case of if we're off in the bag, we have to take it.
Yeah.
I think, though, that it's just an element of the time, because
Yeah.
you said that, obviously with critics, but you got to think that the critics back then were growing up on New Hollywood.
Mm.
Our critics now,
Yeah.
who are becoming critics, have grown up on the schlock that is.
Yeah.
So it's like.
That's true.
It's sadly it's a trickle down from the industry itself. And
Yeah.
it just goes round in one big loop, affecting everything.
That basically is a combination of why I've lost total faith in not just the film and television industries, but media as a whole.
Yeah. I feel like there hasn't really been a film this year. There has been films, but maybe not a specific film that has been this is why I love the medium kind of thing.
Mhm.
I mean, for me that was in Dune 2 and Furiosa, but I think there's been too much shit to wash out the greatness that there has been in few films compared to all the wealth of bad films that there have been.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think it's a case of I remember watching a roundtable of directors, and Ridley Scott said something. I think it was a 2017 or something, and he was told thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of films are made every single year, when actually the hire is much higher than that. And he said that's too many films being made. That is too many films being made. And I remember heavily disagreeing with him, saying, who the hell is he to say who can and can't make a film? Is he basically saying I can't go and make the film and release it to the public because that would be my work? Today, I see his fucking point. There's too many shit